In this video, we are going to be writing the equations of horizontal and vertical lines. We're going to start by looking at a horizontal line. If you were to pick 3 points on a horizontal line, any 3 points, what I'd like you to notice is that this ordered pair is -2, 2. This ordered pair is -1, 2. And this ordered pair is +1, 2. So what I want you to notice is that all 3 of these ordered pairs have a matching y value. That is because any point on a horizontal line will have the same y value as any other point. So the slope of the line is 0, but we notice that all the y values are the same. Since all of the y values are the same, if we were going to try to write it in y equals mx plus b, okay, we could see that the slope would be 0 and the y-intercept happens to be 2, which proves to you this way that it's y equals 2. But I also like to recognize that when I'm writing the equation of a horizontal line, no matter what for this horizontal line, y is always 2. So to write an equation that says y is always 2, we can say y equals 2. Essentially, what we're saying is if it's a horizontal horizontal line, it'll always be y equals the number that is the y value of every point. When we look at a vertical line, you should notice that in the vertical line, all of the x values are the same. So no matter what point I pick on a vertical line, all of the x values will have the same value. So all of the x values are the same. The slope of a vertical line is undefined. Because the slope of the vertical line is undefined, it would be difficult for us to put that in y equals mx plus b because you can't just write undefined as a slope. So instead what we do is we say the equation of the line, because the x values are always the same, x is always equal to -2 for this particular line. So the equation is x equals -2. If I were to graph another vertical line here, all of these x values are 1. So this equation would be x equals 1 because all of the x values are 1. So a vertical line will always be in the form x equals the number of the x values of every point on that line. When we go down to these examples, we have to make sure we recognize if we want a horizontal line, it has to be y equals a number. If we want a vertical line, it's x equals a number. So if we want a horizontal line through this point, a horizontal line is always y equals a number. So what does the y value equal here? The y value is -1. If you weren't sure, you could go to a graph and plot the point 9, -1 and draw a horizontal line and ask yourself, are all the y values the same there? And they are. All the y values are -1. So in the same sense, a vertical line through this point, vertical lines are x equals a number. So I'm going to want the x value on this point because the x value on a vertical line will always be the same. So x equals -3. On a graph, you could plot the point -3, 8 and draw a vertical line to notice that x is always going to be -3. For the last example, they're just telling you that it's an undefined slope. This tells you that you have to think a little bit harder and decide which type of line has an undefined slope. A vertical line has an undefined slope. So since we know we're dealing with a vertical line, we want it to be x equals a value, x equals a number, and the x value of that point is 5. So we get x equals 5.